Hi, this is just a third part in my Halloween study that I promised that I would do about four parts. I should have a fourth one soon. Um, this is just on the art influences that Carpenter may have had or was influenced in the making of Halloween and its creative and imaginative process. I spoke in the part two version where the artist James Ensor was a big influence on the Halloween. Um, Another painter that I studied and soon realized was also another influence was on the Surrealist painter Renee Magritte, who's also another famous painter on the Surrealism area at the time. Um, his works were very influential in the pop art movement also, and he created a style that was very distinct and where he used a lot of everyday normal objects, and he would simply rearrange the figures, locations, forcing the viewer to take a deeper look in what was in front of them and what the image truly represented. There's many scenes in the movie of Halloween where there's subtle references to those surrealist paintings that Magritte was that made that had free floating figures or images, out of place objects in strange atmospheric, dreamlike compositions. Um, Renee Magritte was born November 21st, 1898, and died August 15th, 1967. He was also a Belgian artist, just like Ensor. Um, he became known for having many works that were witty and provoking images that were falling into the category of surrealism. So he always challenged his observers' preconditioned perceptions of reality. Um, Many of his central strategies and themes were from the most inventive and experimental period in his career. His images always had displacement, transformation, metamorphosis, the misnaming of objects, and the representation of visions seen in half-waking states are among Magritte's innovative image-making tactics during his most creative years. So he pretty much focused on the mystery of the ordinary. Um, Both Carpenter and Magritte are similar in many ways. And in the movie, Carpenter included Myers in many scenes and included him in the figure in subtle everyday environments. Um, and made the scenes uh, that create a sense of oddness and in a mysterious way. The artist Magritte also have with Carpenter would place objects or people and figures in that would make the observer overlook um, that would be placed in dreamlike sequences, as we noticed as many may have seen that in many scenes in Halloween, there are many scenes where the characters are looking out windows. The figure is standing out of corners and bushes, and many of his killings and killings of victims in the movie were placed in odd positions and creative manners that would be considered surrealistic. Also, Carpenter created his character Michael Myers, played with his character in making this audience come to believe that Myers had a very creative way of sickly making giving the idea that he had a comical sense, that he had he would, in the ways he would display his victims, and how he would display them in certain scenes, giving him a sense of like a cartoon-like manner. Also in the ways he would stalk his victims. He would be in just he would show up in random areas, sort of quantum leaping through scenes or floating across screens, in many ways of which Magritte had represented in his paintings as free floating objects and silhouettes of figures in his paintings. So that has similarities in both artists having very surrealistic placement of objects. Has also subtle similarities to Magritte's painting, like this one here. There's many influences that I see and connections together with giving Michael a sense of humor, and in the way he created his victims in dreamlike positions, and as in this scene where Laurie finally realizes all her friends have been killed and are popping out from all over the room. In this particular scene, you see the surrealistic setting of the tombstone and jack-o'-lantern on the side. Just really out of the ordinary displacement of objects in a very dreamlike way. And also in this other scene, you see how he the way he is this particular scene where he's choking one of his victims. I believe seemed has another subtle influence from this Magritte painting, with blankets draped over our heads, and just another interesting observation I had. Also, just another interesting note that is quite interesting to know is that Magritte's had also an influence on The Exorcist, that was famously known as the famous scene where the one of the priests is stepping out of the cab and stands in front of the residence, where he would have to battle against good and evil, in the famous eerie glow that's casting out of the window. It was also influenced by Magritte's famous 1954 painting Empire of Light. So this is just my observation, my continuing of just videos that I would like to make, and showing many observations I've had on this film. I will be having another part into my study of Halloween. So please subscribe. Thanks.